about the internet of value at Ripple, we're thinking much bigger than just cross-border payments. It's kind of like Amazon with rare books in the early days, just this market happens to be a $10 trillion market.
We are at a historic turning point.
Said in the past that you are doing for money what email did for communication.
Moving the whole revolution forward.
There's trillions of dollars parked around the world.
XRP.
Is there a possibility that Ripple could take over SWIFT one day?
Well,
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to an episode of 24 Hours Crypto. Let's get right into today's very bullish episode. They're all working together. The World Economic Forum, R3, Corda, Wells Fargo, NASDAQ, all in the same bed. And in today's video, we are going to go ahead and put out the hardcore evidence right in front of you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. We are going to break down some Brad Garlinghouse videos as well. That's going to completely shock you. Why don't we start with stablecoins versus XRP? Okay, you still need to go from dollar to peso. You still need XRP as a bridge and a source of liquidity. Ladies and gentlemen, pre-funded accounts, say goodbye to those, because XRP is here to solve the pain points of financial institutions. Take a listen to what Brad Garlinghouse says here.
Well, one thing to jump off of that point, stable coins are all the rage right now. Everybody's coming out with a dollar-backed or some other sort of asset-backed coins that they can conduct trades quickly, seamlessly, but also without the volatility. So what would be the advantage of using XRP, for instance, rather than using one of these more sort of like designed to be fully stable assets?
Yeah, a stable coin like USDC, for example, that Coinbase and Circle have done. I think that is interesting in mitigating volatility, but you still have to go from dollar to peso, right? So at some point you have a bridge, somebody has to bridge that. And in effect, what Ripple's doing is, let's make XRP the most efficient, the most liquid, and the easiest to bridge by selling effectively connectors on both ends, selling APIs to allow people to connect to both ends of that. If we have hundreds of banks interconnected to use XRP for that, I think that bodes well for the liquidity of XRP.
It's basically who has the most liquidity is going to win this game.
I mean, that's what I believe. I think different people believe different things, but that's okay.
Boom, ladies and gentlemen. And if you guys recall this World Economic Forum article, how interoperability establishes blockchain utility and effectiveness for trade finance, which we're going to get into momentarily. But I want to break down these videos so you guys hear from Brad Garlinghouse. Another question that you guys are probably wondering, why financial institutions, are using Ripple but not XRP. So take a listen to what he says here.
Because there's some financial institutions who are using Ripple but not actually XRP. Can you explain how that evolved and how that's going?
So I think, a lot of times, I talk about the more than 200 banks and financial institutions we're working with, most of them sign up and engage us on a fiat to fiat basis. Dollar to yen, dollar to Mexican peso, dollar to Argentinian peso. And that's because that's how the correspondent banking network works today. In effect, some people describe what Ripple's original product and initial product is called kind of SWIFT 2.0. SWIFT is what correspondent banks use for messaging to debit and credit the pools of liquidity. And when I say pools of liquidity, I mean like pre-funded accounts. The Bank of Jen and the Bank of Brad would have accounts at each other's banks, and you might be Mexican peso, I'd be dollar, and we debit and credit those with messaging. That works if the accounts are pre-funded. And what we have found is there's more efficient ways to manage liquidity. If you as a bank don't have to put money at my bank and I don't have to put money at your bank, I can use that money for other things. It's working capital. MoneyGram, as an example, has several $100 million of negative working capital. They're a public company. That's material to their business for sure. If by working with them, they can reduce the amount of pre-funding, that is very accretive to how they think about the use of capital and what they can do with that if they didn't have that negative working capital out there.
So just to break down what he says, at the time, MoneyGram was leveraging XRP. Okay, so he's speaking on behalf. So if these institutions were to use XRP as liquidity, you will free up those free pre-funded accounts, is basically what he's saying at that very moment. But without regulatory clarity, we can't go full throttle. And again, this is an orchestrated plan all aboard to change the entire financial infrastructure, and that is a fact, folks. And in today's video, we're going to tie everything together. It all started back in 2015. Ripple Labs names a technology pioneer by World Economic Forum. And you know what's crazy? The previous winners included Airbnb, Dropbox, GitHub, Google, Nest Labs, Mozilla, and Twitter. And where are they now? Look at Google, look at Airbnb, look at Dropbox. And Ripple was named the pioneer back in 2015. And then fast forward to April 10th, today, R3 publishes this: boost your business's productivity level with R3's Quick Start service. And then when we go ahead and click on it, it takes us to the Cord app, and then service from Cord app. And then they go on to say first DLT platform of choice for the financial services industry. And then on April 4th, the Central Bank of UAE, which Ripple is massive in the UAE, selects R3 to implement its CBDC strategy. We got Wells Fargo with Corda. We have NASDAQ to collaborate with R3 on institutional grade offerings for digital asset exchanges. By tapping Corda Enterprise, NASDAQ can bolster its broader platform and partnership strategy in order to support new institutional grade assets utilizing Corda Enterprise to manage the complete asset lifecycle for new and existing market infrastructure operators on a 24/7, 365 basis. And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to require liquidity, and that is a fact. And don't forget R3 Sandbox. This is when they were working with the BIS Innovation Hub, right? Remember Project Europe, Project Dunbar. We have Project Helvetia. Remember I said there's so many projects there, I can't even name them all. There's over 30 projects that they're all working on, different point of view. And then we have Corda Network. Move cash, digital assets, and identity data from one application to another. Ripple's been working on identity. This is back in 2020. Ripple debuts Digital ID project with 40 companies on board. And then we have Monica Long coming out with identity. This was this year on January 9th. Take a listen to what she says.
Those are the gates to pretty much anything that we do online or in the world. And in a Web3 context with decentralized identity, I will now be able to take back ownership of my identity and all my information in a token that's transportable around the world and I can delegate access to. The other thing that I'm really...
And they're all working together. That is what I'm trying to say. They're all going to leverage each other directly or indirectly. Keep that in the back of your mind. That is a big, big deal. Indirect partnerships and direct partnerships, they're completely two different things. Okay, back to this article. How interoperability establishes blockchain's utility and effectiveness for trade finance. Take a listen to these, okay? Unlike other battles between technology standards, there will not be consolidation around dominant blockchain protocols that have the primarily burden to become interoperable. It is true that Hyperledger Fabric and Corda are the most widely adopted protocols in the enterprise blockchain space. The public blockchain space for digital currency is far more fragmented, but Bitcoin and Ethereum are considered the reference cryptocurrency. Just a reference, okay? And Hyperledger Fabric and Corda. If you guys remember, Ripple joined the Hyperledger Fabric Consortium. And then this is on the Corda website on R3 actually for Corda Settler Proof of Concept. As you guys could see, we already went over this. Their notary clusters, and it's going through the XRP network. I'll leave the link in the description down below so you guys can go ahead and check it out. Okay, it explains everything. We'll just go ahead and quickly go over it as you guys could see how it would work. And furthermore, one blockchain network will simply be unable to provide all the needs for any given trade transaction. There will need to be multiple networks, each providing specific value. Data from private networks can be routed through other relevant networks for transactions without having to establish a one-to-one integration. Boom, folks. Everyone is dependent on physical goods, ability to move across all participants in the global supply chain with minimal friction. We need the same ability to move digital asset from one blockchain to another without creating redundant data or new market for intermediaries. This is why blockchain interoperability is critical. And then getting on to a World Economic Forum document from 2021. If you guys remember, they referenced XRPL here. for their scalability. And all grants here, Cardano's here, but also, you know who else was here? Brad Garlinghouse, okay? He is one of the reviewers before this got published. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And just know there will be a moment when utility tokens will decouple from Bitcoin and Ethereum. And that's why I've said it in the past and I'll say it again. XRP will be ranked #1 on CoinMarketCap purely off its utility basis. And even listen to what Brad Garlinghouse says here. Okay, this is in 2020. So he says from 2 to 3 or 5 years from now, we're really going to see that decouplement. And this would be year 3. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, take a listen to this video and we'll be back with another episode.
I think over the long term, meaning 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you know, that correlation, I think, will start to reflect those that have a real use case. You know, I'm very enthusiastic about not just what Ripple is doing, but the community of companies working around the XRP ledger.
We started building RippleNet with the thesis that crypto liquidity would eventually be able to support robust global payments, large payments. RippleNet was designed so that customers seeing the benefits of our fiat-based network could flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough. And this is exactly what's happening. Flip the switch.
I think what we're building has, you know, it's solving a real problem. And I think all of the tokens, my advice to anybody would be, understand the utility. If there's real utility and there's real value being delivered to a real customer, there will be value in the token.